Most people earn money by exchanging time for pay. This includes salaries, hourly wages, and contract work. The structure feels familiar and dependable. You show up, perform a task, and receive compensation. Over time, this model becomes normal, even unquestioned. It is the most common way income is earned because it is simple and easy to understand. Beneath this simplicity is a limitation that most people do not notice until much later. Income in this structure exists only while effort is actively applied. The moment work stops, income stops. This dependency on personal presence is the defining characteristic of time-based income. Pay is not tied to results over time, but to continuous participation. Time-based income feels stable because the feedback is immediate. Work is performed and payment follows shortly after. This creates a sense of control and predictability. Effort is directly rewarded, which reinforces the belief that progress is being made. The connection between action and income feels clear, measurable, and dependable. However, this structure imposes a ceiling that cannot be ignored. There are only 24 hours in a day. Some of those hours must be used for sleep, health, and basic life maintenance. The remaining hours define the maximum possible working time. No amount of discipline, focus, or efficiency can remove this constraint. Time is finite, and income tied directly to time inherits that limit. As income grows within this structure, progress slows. Early increases feel meaningful, but over time each gain requires more effort. Higher pay usually demands longer hours, greater responsibility, or increased stress. Eventually, physical and cognitive limits are reached. Even when income rises, it becomes fragile. Illness, burnout, or life interruptions immediately affect earnings. The structure resists expansion because it is built on personal availability rather than repeatable output. Many people attempt to bypass this limitation by adding more work. Side hustles are the most common approach. While they appear different, most side hustles preserve the same structure. Time is still exchanged directly for money, just in additional slots. The schedule becomes fuller, not freer. The income may increase temporarily, but the ceiling remains. The underlying problem is not effort level, it is structure. Without structural change, income remains bound to personal execution. This creates instability. Income becomes sensitive to health, energy, and circumstance. Any disruption reduces earnings. Long-term planning becomes difficult because income requires constant maintenance. This fragility is not caused by poor decision-making. It is a predictable outcome of time-dependent systems. When income relies entirely on presence, it cannot compound. It can only be sustained through continued effort. Long-term income growth requires separation between effort and output. This separation is not achieved by working harder or becoming more efficient. It is achieved by structure. An income system is a structure designed to produce results repeatedly without requiring continuous personal involvement. The initial effort is concentrated up front, but once the system exists, output can continue independently. In an income system, work shifts from execution to design. Time is spent building processes rather than performing tasks. Once the process exists, income generation no longer depends on constant action. Maintenance replaces constant activity. This reduces fragility. Income becomes less sensitive to daily availability and more resilient to interruptions. The system absorbs variability that time-based work cannot. An effective income system has three properties. First, it has structure. The steps are defined and do not change each time the system operates. Second, it has repeatability. The same inputs reliably produce similar outputs. Third, it has separation from personal time. The system continues functioning even when the individual disengages. Without these properties, the work remains time-bound, regardless of how productive it appears. Many activities appear system-like, but are not. Freelancing without delegation remains time-bound. Content creation without distribution systems remains time-bound. Sales without automation remain time-bound. The appearance of leverage is not leverage. True leverage exists only when output detaches from effort. Visibility is often confused with scalability. Activity is confused with progress. These misunderstandings keep people trapped in effort-heavy structures. Income systems exist to remove the ceiling imposed by time. They change the mechanics of income production. The difference is not how hard someone works. The difference is how income is structured. When effort becomes a setup cost rather than a constant requirement, income gains the ability to scale. Understanding this distinction is the first step toward building income that grows beyond personal limitation.